Good afternoon, everyone. Let's all welcome our presenter this afternoon, Miss Carla Cansenya. Go ahead, Carla.
Hi, good afternoon. Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. So welcome back to our Heroes 2021 Stage 2 webinar. So I hope that you're having a good Friday, even if it's a Friday, TGIF, pero mamaya na mag-fun. Okay, so today we are going to continue with our session on creating your first online course. So this one is create and facilitate. So I don't know if you have tinkered in Freeju already, but in this stage 2, in this module, your final assessment is to create your own Freeju course. Okay, so I will be taking you to Freeju later on, and para lang yun makita ano ba yung best and maybe worst practices for creating your online course. So, let's begin with this quote by Jose Rizal. Una ko po na-encounter itong quote na to when I was in college, when I was reading a book on Rizal, and it really inspired me. So allow me to read this quote. So go ahead then, study, and meditate well that you study. Life is a very serious thing, and only those with intelligence and heart go through it worthily. To live is to be among men, and to be among men is to struggle. But this struggle is not a brutal and material struggle with men alone. It is a struggle with them and one's self, with their passions and one's own, with errors and preoccupations. It is an eternal struggle with a smile on the lips and tears in the heart. On this battlefield, man has no better weapon than his intelligence. No other force but his heart. Sharpen, perfect, polish then your mind, and fortify and educate your heart. I have written enough for the present. I am your uncle who loves you, Jose Rizal. So this is part of a letter to Jose Rizal's nephew. I'd like you to take a moment to pause and reflect on what he has said. Because we are in this course, Heroes 2021, and on the opening of classes, we are celebrating the World Teacher. Today is World Teachers Month, but on the opening of classes, we celebrated yung World Teachers Day. It's to culminate the month long of the teachers. And madalas na po natin sinasabi na our teachers are heroes, and you are heroes. And we are here in the Heroes program as well. And what more to gain inspiration from, but from our national hero, Jose Rizal. So, diba, we have to study and meditate. But I also, I'll give you a moment to pause and reflect. Yeah. But I also give you this slide, not only because of its inspirational value, but I want you to look at it as a bad example of a visual presentation. Okay? Kasi it's too wordy. This is too wordy kahit na isang quote siya from a letter. This is not a good example to put out in one slide, in one go. So, pwede na siyang i-chunk maybe later on, or don't show it, or sabihin na lang siya in a different way. So, So for this day, we are going to identify best practices and the bad. Parang yung kanina po. Creating a course in Freeju and then demonstrate features in Freeju as well. So I'm not sure how many of you have finished the course and have proceeded with the creating your own Freeju course na, yung final assessment for this module, no? But you have enough experience, I think, from yung isang course last time on introduction to the Freeju on pedagogy and all things. Tapos ngayon, creating your first online course. So let's recap. Yesterday, we talked about this, the 7 guidelines. So group effort, meaning you have your colleagues with you, kausapin niyo po sila. Okay. So that is one best practice. Bad practice is you think you know it all. Okay. Na kaya ko to at hindi ko kaya ito. Kaya ko siyang i-Google search at kaya kong malaman. So kasi talking to your colleagues will also give you feedback. And receiving feedback is a humbling experience as well. Kasi para malaman nyo if you are on the right track, tama ba to, maganda ba to, baka para sa inyo madali siya maintindihan, pero hindi pala madali maintindihan para sa ibang mga tao. Then active learning, so more of doing, rather than just watching and reading something. Chunking the lesson, keeping group sizes small, being present, okay. Parse your time and embrace multimedia assignment. I'll talk about the other things later on when we go to a demonstration. So, I'll share with you. Okay. Last March, ito po, springtime, this was my first course in Freeju. This is the first course that I made in Freeju. So, yes, it is for NSTP2. Imagine, how are you going to teach NSTP2 virtually, online? It's supposed to be project-based, doing something, the volunteer, interacting with people, experiential learning to implement the project plans that they have made from NSTP1 going to NSTP2. Diba, ganun po dapat yun eh. So, mind-boggling. It's a big challenge because our opening of classes then was the Monday. I think it's the Monday, or is that a Monday? It was the week after the ECQ was declared. Lockdown, diba? So, okay, rehaul, teka lang, bagong plano. So, you need to adjust. So, as you can see, ito po yung studio page ng Freeju. So, we have your section and then subsections. In each subsections, there are units. Okay, ito po yung units, yung pinaka-chunk ninyo. Each unit, yun yung makikita doon sa Freeju page. So, let's say, so welcome message, so welcome. If I click this, we will go here. So, ito yung makikita nila at the end. Yung student edit. Ito po kayo mag-i-edit at maglalagay ng content. So, let's go to the overview of the whole course. This is the March portion hanggang. And then this NSTP2 is from March until June. First week of June. That's the final exam, final project. So, we had our training in Freeju on designing and engaging online learning experience by Acadesia as well. I think that was around mid-March or end of March, around that time, mid and end of March. So, natapos na yung first parts, no? Kaya yun yung medyo bad examples. Kita niyo kung paano nag-evolve on from bad design to acceptable maybe, or so okay na. So let's see this live. So this is the video page at the beginning. You can see here sa left panel, ito po yung section and subsections. So, I divided the sections into weeks para madaling sundan ng mga estudyante. So, week 1 until week 12. Na dadagdagan po ito depende sa kung kailan po siya ni-schedule i-release. For example, here, they released March 16. This one, you can see released March 23. So you can schedule, for example, you did everything na at the beginning, but you don't want your students, especially your Viva students, to see everything. Okay? So you can schedule its release. Diba? Yeah. Release, you can schedule its release date here. Yun nga lang po, huwag niyo expect na kapareho natin ng yung time dito ay kapareho natin ng time kasi the release time this time is in UTC. I-convert niyo na lang po, i-google niyo kung paano anong oras sa UTC ang sa time zone natin. There. So let's go back here. So this is the welcome message. Blah, 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 blah. So this one chunk, and then another chunk. Here, so, this is their introduction. This is a Padlet. It's where they did their introduction. At this time, since konti lang naman po sila, I responded to each and every one of them. Some of them did respond. So ito yung una kong page dito, ito yung una kong post. That's me checking in and telling them about how to do it, introducing themselves. So these students are also my students in NSTP1. So we've known each other personally na rin. Except for one new student in a class. And then, how are we going to go about? So, introduction on the online class. So, at this time, we're using, this March, we're using FreeZoom. I'm using Google Classroom for them to submit everything, all the files and coursework. And then, we are also using Slack for messaging. Because at this time po, I only have mobile data. So, my internet connection. So, mobile data. So, I cannot really offer synchronous learning environment. So I cannot use Zoom, I cannot, it's very difficult for me to have live video conferencing. So we use Slack, and that's where we engage. That's where we talk, that's where we have our discussions based on what is the content here in FreeZoom. More likely, like how you are doing now in this course. Diba? You have your Slack, it's where you discuss, post questions, etc. Then attendance, I put here, this is a very good feature in FreeZoom. It adds a discussion. It's like a forum board, if you know, like forums. Ang magiging challenge lang dito sa discussion is how for them, the students, to engage and to comment on each other's discussion, entry, comment on each other's comment. Kasi ang nangyayari is one-sided nga. They answer to you, but they don't really read na the other answers of their classmates. And then requirements, blah, 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 blah. Parang, alam, should have, where's the link for the syllabus? I linked it. Okay, here, reading assignment. So, passive learning. And then, hopefully, yun nga. So, next week, what did we do next week? So, this is a very, ilang slides lang siya. 5 slides. This is made by Google Slides, publish Google Slide, and then embedded in Freeju. So one of the things that I like about Freeju is you can embed almost anything. Okay, embed, embed, embed. How does this look like at the back end? Week 2. So here, introduction. Types. So, kita nyo, ito na siya kagad. But when you put the edit, andyan pa rin siya, kita. Saan nyo po makikita? HTML. So, hindi ako marunong magsulat in HTML language. But this iframe embed code is freely accessible within the different sites so you wish to embed. You can embed Canva, you can embed Spotify. Okay? You can embed Spotify links or podcasts in Spotify, from Spotify, and then they can play it right here directly in Freeju. Almost anything. You can embed almost anything here in Freeju, as long as the site also allows it. So, bakit po siya bad example? So, wala akong other, diba? So, tapos, ano ngayon? Diba? Learning this, ano ngayon? Napakadaming words. Yan. Diba? So, parang at this time, I was thinking that this is just a summary of what they have read, supposedly. Okay? And then, we had our chat discussions in Slack. So, doon na lang lahat ng ibang mga instructions pa. So, hindi naging stand-alone yung content ko with Freeju. Kaya, mahirap siyang intindihin kung na-relate ako pumasok ng class. So, anong mayroon dito? Ano nangyayari? Diba? So, what is this supposed to do? So, that's why it's a bad example. And then, see another video with no introduction on what this video is about and what this area is about. So, this video is 2 minutes, 3 minutes long. So, medyo okay, pasok with that guideline. Tapos, next video ka agad. Wala ulit text on introduction kung paano, ano bang mangyayari dito. So, I think this is 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes. Just 5-minute video. Tapos next, ano na kaagad, wala man lang, explanation or prompting, ano ba kailangan nilang makuha dito sa video na to. So I'm telling you the bad examples. These are bad practices. You should improve on not do it. Tapos next, ganito ulit. Okay, ano mangyayari dito? I think this is a bad example of a video. Kasi this is a webinar that is an hour long, 30 minutes long. So I don't think that the students were able to really, get what they had here in mind. Because remember, if I look back, I was thinking then I cannot do synchronous lessons kasi nga I don't have a stable internet connection. I have limited data. And this was March. So lahat nangangapa. So everything lang we had our discussions in chat. And remember yung parsing time in the 7 tips? Well, nangyari yun na it's as if, when I post a discussion question or a question for the whole class, ang nangyari, each person would just type in what they think without regard to what has been said already. So, parang hirap i-string na it's a group discussion and not just I'm discussing with you and you and you and you in the same platform. So that was one of the challenge that parang okay, sige, hindi dapat baguhin to. Kailangan hindi maging ganon. Kailangan nyo pong i-avoid yun. Next. Okay. So here, discussions. ito, tinry ko pa rin na magkaroon ng asynchronous discussion, no, with the whole class. So I wanted to motivate them to reply to their classmates' points by giving them points. 3 points for the contribution and then 1 point for comment, for another person's discussion. Kaya lang, isang estudyante lang, tapos ako lang din yung nag-reply sa kanya, tapos hindi na siya nag-reply back sa akin. So, I think at this time nang napaparin sila and using Freeju, one of the things that was lacking back then was notifications. So, hindi nila alam kung may bago or discuss pa, something. And at that time, lagi nagkakaroon ng technical glitches with the discussion board. So, minsan, nag-error at hindi siya makita. But I think it has been fixed na today. Kaya, nakikita na natin ngayon yung discussion board. And I think they have fixes with the recent system maintenance that is more stable now than before. And then homework, reflection paper. So start yan with the paper and submit it to Google Classroom. Next week, so yung ibang instructions ko dito, it's not a standalone thing. There's no instruction on what to do here and other things. Pero kasi, ang nangyari po dito, we had a discussion in Slack. So, nandoon yung ibang instructions and just redirect them here to do the activity. And I have emailed them to share the sheet. So, parang dito, we just took a look at what organizations are helping, doing in the response for COVID-19. COVID-19 volunteer efforts. Kasi parang ang idea dito would be, from this list, ano kaya yung, saan kaya ka pwedeng mag-volunteer? Ano kaya yung mga pwedeng gawin? Either you join the organization or do something similar in a smaller community, in a smaller degree. Yan. So, see, you can also embed, sabi ko, you can embed almost anything. You can also embed Google Sheets. And then another reflection paper, ulit yung reflection. And then, go here na, week 4. Think nag-adjust na dito. Hindi ko March or April ba yung Diole? I totally forgot na when it was really. So, ayan, medyo nag-i-improve na. May short description na kung saan yung video. But I think it's still not enough. Okay? So, sa importante, you put something here to introduce what video you have here. Kasi the video will be a supplement of video, of content, or kunwari dito, lagay nyo yung prompts, what should they be? What should they look for, or ano yung dapat nilang tignan, yung mga salient points na kailangan nilang makuha or i-reflect on. So dito, syempre put the learning nuggets. Again, isa lang ulit yung sumagot dito. Naglagay ng learning niya. So hindi masyadong effective. Kailangan pang i-reach as mga estudyante. And then here, we discussed about what their project will be all about. But then I think I also expounded this in our chat discussion in Slack. Or I think, kasi by this time, let me check. By April 16, hindi pa. By the following week, this is I think the last week that we were in Slack. The following week, we were instructed to use a limited number of apps, online apps, so that the students will not, parang each subject, iba-iba yung ginagamit ginagamit. So, bilang estudyante, nakakalito po yun. Parang sana nga ba, it would be really very hard to keep track of everything, especially, diba, these are students and they're young and their organizational skills are not really as developed as compared to adults. Thinking na, sige, ano po ito, college na. Pero kung i-translate po natin sa students ninyo today, or, diba, junior high, grade 7, organizational skills, minsan yan, nakalimutan pa yung notebook kapag sa regular classroom, diba? Or ballpen, walang ballpen, maghihiram pa ng ballpen. So, paano ngayon yung kapag in their class, so some divisions have implemented, diba, 4-in-1, like 4 subjects to complete in 1 month is equivalent to 1 quarter. So kung may 4 na subject ako, tapos iba-iba yung mga ginagamit nun, medyo kalat-kalat, medyo mahihirapan din po ako na, ano na nga ba yun? Saan na nga ba? Punta para sa subject na to. So let's keep it simple, okay? Keep it simple, and then, kaya nga po importante to talk and coordinate with your colleagues so that you will have one direction, okay? You're in one ship and you have one direction, one person to navigate, to give directions and navigation. And then we all support so that to row, so that we will all go move forward. Okay, so here are the guidelines for the project proposal. This is the outline, and then this was how I random.org po is a website that gives you random numbers. So at this time, I just used this to organize their order of presentation for their oral presentation for their proposal. So, paano po yun at bakit? Kasi diba normally mag-draw lots tayo sa class. Eh since hindi ko po kaya mag-draw lots na ngayon online, mahirap. So, I just use random.org to randomize them. To randomize the list para at least hindi po ako nag-decide sino ang mauuna at ano. So, ni-random ko. At this time, sisipin niyo, sabi niyo, baka tanungin niyo po na akala ko ba hindi mo kayang mag-live online synchronous class? Bakit ngayon may oral presentation and this was live po in Zoom? By this time, so this was a week ng April 30 to 18, ang oral presentation ay April 27, the last week of April. Meron na po akong maayos na internet. Nakapagpakabit na po kami. Before Holy Week, we applied. March actually, yun yung nag-start ng lockdown, we applied. Siguro last week of March. And then, nakabit po siya this the week ng Holy Week bago mag-bakasyon talaga. Which was fortunate for us, no? Na madali po naikabit. Hindi namin kailangan maghintay na matagal. Hindi po katulad ngayon na kapag nagpakabit ka, nag-apply ka, ay buwan po ang aabutin. So, we're fortunate kasi my husband also needed internet connection to work from home as well. So, ayan. At this time, nag-migrate na po kami from Slack. We abandoned Slack to go to Google Chat. Google Chat is part of the G Suite. But since, parang Google Currents na, it's because we all have, even the students have .edu accounts, times .edu accounts. We are able to connect together. But in your case po, since DepEd teachers lang po yung may .edu account, hindi niyo po siya pwedeng gamitin for your students. That's why I am recommending Discord or Slack, or even if, Messenger, Facebook, para may free data. Depende po what will work for you the best. Yun po yung importante. Yeah. Kung ano po yung magagamit ninyo ng maayos. Okay. Just a side note din dyan, no? Merong comment yung isang pinsan ko na may mga maliliit na anak. Kasi nga, nag-online classes sila and they study in a private school. When the teacher daw quizzes and play posit and other things. So, minsan nakaka-stress kapag nag-lag bigla yung internet, tapos nawala, tapos kukulit-ulit. Or, nakakadagdag sa stress sa bata. So, maybe, just keep it simple. Keep it, you have a vast of online tools available. Just keep it simple. Okay, so here, just add other implementation guidelines, kind of format, and then I put here a link para so that they can find other outlines. So ito na, at this week, they're already implementing their project. So I use Mentimeter. I put the link for the code here. And para makita nila kaagad din yung results, I put it here. So first week of project implementation. And then reflection. By this time, ang reflection ko ay essay format. So this one is called Open Response Assessment in Freezoo. And you can see here as the content creator, you can see here yung assignment statistics kung ilan yung sumagot at ilan yung, here you can manage individual learners. Just type in their usernames and then makikita nyo kung ano yung sagot nila. So that's week 1 written. By this time, we are finished with our course na Diole, yun nga po. No? So medyo nag-experiment na ako ng ibang mga bagay. I'm more conscious on how the interactions are flowing and going and how to track the implementation of their projects. Individual projects po ito mahirap mag-group dahil nga magkakahiwalay. At saka virtual naman, virtual volunteerism, that's their task to do something virtually to help others. Okay. So I always begin with a mood meter, project mood meter on how are you in your implementation of your emotion. So nagsimula tayo dito, diba? We began here as kumusta, just multiple choice of different emojis. So, kaya 50% ay heart-shaped ng mata. So, love na love. So, they really love what they're doing so far. Pagdating ng week 2, they rate naman. Meron ng iba-ibang words and they rate it kung ano yung, parang they rank the feelings, the emotions, depending on how they're feeling. So, ito na yung mga feeling nila. Pinakamababa po ang stress. So, at this time, doing their projects, because I allowed them to, do what they think is needed in their own community. Later on, I'll let you know kung ano yung ibang mga naging projects nila as to volunteer and to help out, especially in the COVID-19 crisis. So, fulfilled, happy, satisfied. Konti, mababa ang ranking ng anxious, mababa ang ranking ng sad, pero hindi sila stressed. And then, so I'm done with the writing reflection. So this time, I implemented an audio reflection. Okay. So, there are still guide questions, and then they're just going to record their voice on, what they think about this. Some people would like to think out loud, diba? Or somebody, they wrote it at first and then they recorded it, mas conscious sila sa kung ano yung sasabihin nila. And then, I just asked them to submit it through a Google form. So, meron dong, so in Google form, you can put pwede po kayo mag-submit ng files. You can add their submit file in Google Forms. Merong iba at this time na hindi po nila na-record, pero hindi nila mapagana yung submit button sa Google Forms. So, they just emailed the files directly to me. Okay naman. Flexible naman po tayo. Tsaka 11 na po sila nitong time na to eh. So, okay lang. Manageable yung number of students. And then, week 3. Week 3 is the mid-project. Okay, so they're in the middle of their project na. So, how are you? So, from, di ba, merong progression yung mood meter natin. Mood meter. So, from just emojis to words to, okay, describe your own. Okay. So, they're describing it, accelerating, accomplished, pressured, exciting, good, relieved, motivated, ambitious, excited, nice, fine, okay. Halos magkakapareho yung laki niya kasi siguro halos tig-isa lang sila ng entry. Kasi nga po, di ba, 11 lang sila. Thus, they are allowed to put at least 3 words in this mood meter. And then, this is the mid-project evaluation. Ayan na. Kita na yung meron ng prompting, getting their attention with a code, and then there is an instruction na, and then an instruction on how to use Flipgrid. So apparently, this video has been deleted in YouTube kasi I put this video here from YouTube. So wala na siya. Kaya natin mag-view. But that was just an instruction of how to use Flipgrid. I could have posted my own video, pero dahil meron po mas okay na video galing sa ibang tao, yun ang gagamitin ko. I'm still accomplishing my objectives anyway. So instructions, so here I put the instructions, what are there. So merong naka-bold to, look back what you need to do. And then what are there, what are they going to think about, reflect about. And these are what they are going to do step by step. Log into Flipgrid, record and upload, watch the uploaded videos of classmates, record video, comment minimum 3, wait your class, okay, so dito, di ba? So record your video, upload your video comments. So what are they going to comment about? How are they going to comment? Okay ba yung okay naman? Kasi di ba, tatanong mo yung mga students ngayon, what do you think of his or his project? Pero okay lang, okay naman. Kaya ganun yung mga bata, di ba? Okay naman. Yeah. So what your comments would contain, I put it here, but their comments must contain. So what describe what they liked about the progress, and then maybe if you have suggestions, you can put it there. And then here, it told you can embed anything, almost anything. So I have embedded this particular Flipgrid here in Freeju. Flipgrid is a third-party website. So but I have embedded it here in Freeju para hindi nila kailangan pumunta doon at mag-login doon. So lahat nandito na. So mid-project evaluation. So everything that was on the last unit is also here. We show more. So it is also here. And this is me explaining to them what the instructions were. Then these are their responses. So again, I have 11 students, pero hindi po lahat ay nag-respond. Nagkuha ng mid-project evaluation nila. Next naman, so we had, this is the 4th week past mid-evaluation. So, check, instead na mood meter, check in na. Kumusta na kayo? Are you still feeling okay? Are you meeting your project objectives? Are you ready to conclude your project next week? Kasi conclusion na next week. You can also do this in Mentimeter. is also a Mentimeter. And then, so reflection types. I've done the written, I've done the audio recording, I've done the video, the mid-project evaluation, and now let's see, medyo abstract pictures. Let's see, how are they going to represent in images or in drawings what they are learning or doing in their projects. So this time, itong again, if they don't know how to use Jamboard, I added a video just in case they needed instructions on how to use Jamboard. So let's look po what their projects were. Okay, so this one, yung project niya was to help out in her mom's nag-volunteer siya sa mom niya kasi his mom owns a catering business, and at the beginning, di ba, of COVID, halos talagang lockdown, puro ayuda. So since may catering business ng mom niya, nag-volunteer yung business to provide food packs to Rizal Medical Center. I think that's twice a week na hindi siya yung physically na nagluluto or physically na pupunta sa RMC para mag-deliver, but he was the one doing the back-end portion, managing the whole operations from parang computing how many would be needed to buy, parang magkano, ilan, how much would they buy food, diba? Sa marketing, the term, kung sa lahat ng back-end para managing the whole operations. So yun yung tulong niya sa mom niya. So that's his project then, his way of giving back, and volunteering his time for the Filipino people in the So this one naman is kasi STEMS naman kasi it has a student organization, right? And then the need, since they are already part of an organization who meets the need of the STEMS community to exercise. Exercise boosts our immune system and our mental health, our brain. It's very important for our brain and mental health as well. So especially during the pandemic, So I allowed them to use this as their project as well. Diba? So they lead group exercise programs via Zoom for the STEMS community. So why did I allow them to do it two birds in one stone? Diba? For it's their organization, it's an org activity, but I allow them to use it for NSTP credits. Kasi po, nasa pandemic tayo. We don't want people to be doing a lot of things. Diba? So if this meets the need, this is the objective of NSTP, diba? However you are, you need to have a volunteer heart and spirit and to give back what we have, what we can, and to meet needs of a certain community. So this is what they did, what they meant. So I allowed it. Sabi nga po, di ba? Pwede naman, marami naman din silang natutunan. So with the correct input on volunteerism and giving back, and naputol ba ako kasi nag-fluctuate yung kuryente. So okay lang naman, late.
Yes.
Hindi ako nag-Shopee. Okay. Kasi yung fan ko nawala. So, okay. Going back. Yeah, yan din po yung isang kapag synchronous class. And then this one, ang project naman niya ay art. Okay, so they have an art community. Again, it is servicing the STEMS community. Ito naman, Facebook admin siya. Helping naman working, volunteering for his dad man to become, an admin of the Facebook group for freelance graphic artists. Siya mismo ay hindi graphic artist. Kaya stick figure. no effort, pero, I mean, little effort. This one would be, and another one, social media related. And social media related then on providing infographics for people. Ito naman, gawa siya ng cooking show, eating healthy in amidst the pandemic. Diba? How to eat healthy. So, yung first episode niya ay live via Zoom with the Thames community as audience as well. Kasi yung mga next episodes niya, naka-upload na sa YouTube. So, yan yung mga projects nila. So, and then, we're almost done learning last week. Yan, mood meter. The last mood meter, describe what you learned in your project. So, at least ba, pinakamalaki yung thankful. So, they're thankful. There's a lot to be thankful for. Then, I had this self-evaluation tool din para sa kanila kasi at least malalaman din nila how well did they really do their project, what they think of their project. And then June 1, we had a synthesis session. It's a live session na for everyone. Tapos presenting ano yung final output, ano yung naging realizations nila, and then synthesizing what they have learned, what the purpose of NSTP, importance of volunteerism, and moving forward, how are we going to give back when we have need, when we see needs in a different people. So basically, yun nga po, di ba? Nagpunta tayo, nakita niyo yung progression from very bad examples to acceptable to better practices, right? It's in Fiju. So now, it's your turn. Diba? So if this is your course, this is your course in Fiju, this is how you, and dito po lahat naman yung videos and instructions on how to put and how to, create different things in Fiju. And for your final assessment, yun nga po, you need to create your own course. Diba? On chunking it, and doing it. So if you have any questions, I think we can answer it here. If you have questions on tips on how to do this, and then technical issues, Roy is also here. If you want to, you have other questions. So you can put your questions sa chat or in the Q&A portion.
Thank you so much. Magandang hapon po ulit sa inyong lahat. Stage 2, teacher participants. I guess na-impress ako dun din sa course ni Carla. Actually, it's my first time to see her course. Maganda yung pagkakagawa niya. Pero para sa stage 2 po, hindi naman natin ini-expect na dun nga sa requirement sa Create Your First Online Course ay gumawa kayo ng sariling course niyo. Hindi naman kailangan ganun ka-level. Darating tayo sa level na yun. So, pwede namang unti-unti. So, sa panimula, sa umpisa muna, something adequate and good enough. Probably just 1 or 2 weeks worth of lessons. Sampulan lang natin. I-try lang natin gumawa. Kasi nga, it's one thing to learn and unlearn and relearn the new pedagogy, the new concepts. Pero syempre, iba pa rin pag we put our knowledge into practice. So kahit simpleng, simpleng course lang, 1 to 2 weeks, para lang mag-get natin yung basics. So, wag po tayo mag-alala. Hindi naman kailangan super galing agad-agad. Darating rin tayo doon.
Tama po. Kita nyo naman din yung progression, di ba? So parang, ano ba itong pinagkagagawa ko? Tama ba to? To medyo naging may laman na at medyo naging na siya. Pwede na talaga siyang for self-paced. Yes, Ma'am Melvina. Ano po ang inyong tanong? Medyo putol po yung nasa Q&A. I'm curious how those projects can be graded like in a Jamboard. Well, meron kung at that time kasi it is all only a reflection, di ba? So, parang reflection yan. Medyo um, formative po yung assessment na yun. Gradean ko lang po sila whether or not nag-submit sila or hindi. Yun lang po yung basis ko doon. But if you want to do something like that, pwede po kayong gumawa ng rubric. Diba? Kung papagawa kayo ng digital collage, for example. So, pwede po kayong gumawa ng rubric based on your objectives. At kung ano ba yung gusto nyo makita. Ganun po pwede nyo gradean yung mga ganun. Is there a deadline for finishing all requirements? So, flexible po ako sa deadline. So, anong nangyari, di ba? Ang magiging concern nun, mas magiging mahirap for the teacher. Kasi kung hindi na nagsabay-sabay, kung may mga nadidelay, mahirap i-check, no, i-follow up. Pero, since nasa pandemic po tayo, COVID, may mga iba-ibang konteksto, yung mga bata po, yung mga pamilya, hindi po natin alam, biglang kailangan naka-quarantine silang lahat dahil merong nag-positive sa bahay nila. So, kailangan po natin maging sensitive sa ganun. Nangyari po sa akin, of course, there are merong deadlines, of course, at the end of the term. Pero, yung mga hindi nakamit ng deadline with the term, so incomplete sila. Kasi college nga po ito, di ba? So, they can have an incomplete grade. Now, if they have that, pwede nilang habulin with di ba, the next weeks, the next terms. Late nga lang, incomplete na sila. Balikan ko lang po yung question ko yesterday. You mentioned that videos presented in stage 1 and 2 is parang available for, nawala, for 1 year lang. Can we download those videos for future use? Aling videos po? Yung webinars?
Yeah, maybe I can take that.
Yes.
So, ma-access na po natin yan sa course mismo. Kasi po, yung mga videos natin, bahagi po yun ng course material. Ano po? Total naman, 1 year naman po yan. So, mahaba na po yung panahon para, by that time, I think, memorize nyo na or kaya-kaya nyo na kahit hindi nanonood ng video yung mga skills na pinapakita natin.
So, you can also search din naman po sa YouTube kung kunwari meron kayong gustong clarification or search kayo ng forums, etc. Marami po akong natutunan gawin habang ginagawa ko while searching for it in the internet on how to do it. Yeah, maraming salamat din po. Questions pa po? Ano po ang question, Ma'am Annette? So, one of the things nga, sobrang natutuwa ako, Roy, with Freeju on how you can embed anything and everything. It's like in one of my courses also embedded the Spotify podcast, one episode of a podcast directly in Freeju. So, hindi na sila kailangan mag-open ng Spotify nila to listen to that podcast. Okay, next question. I think this is for you, Roy.
Sige, sinasagot ko lang yung chat, basahin ko lang yung tanong. Yung sabi ni Ma'am Bernadine, yung gagawin po ba na online course ay sa Freeju gagawin? I just enrolled last September 30. Yes, ma'am. Part po yan ng requirement for the course. You build it in Freeju. Ano po? So, depende rin po kung ginagamit yan sa school nyo. Kunyari, meron na kayong LMS na existing. Kung nagawa nyo na siya, pwede nyo rin kaming i-enroll doon. Kasi po sa end ng course, syempre kailangan ma-check natin yung kahit 1 to 2 weeks worth of lessons na ginawa nyo. Pero kailangan nyo kaming i-enroll as a student para makita namin kung ano yung output, ano po yung course na ginawa nyo. So, Kung ginawa niyo siya sa Preview, i-enroll niyo kami. Kung ginawa niyo siya sa ibang LMS, pwede rin kami i-enroll using that same email address. May email naman po dun sa final project. Enroll nyo kami sa student, pwede nyo rin kami i-chat, sabihan nyo kami, kunyari, Sir Roy, tapos na po yung course na ginawa namin, ito yan. So, yeah, so if you're using Google Classroom already, no problem. So you can make it there. And then you just enroll us as a student there, we'll look at it, then we can give you, let's say, comments or feedback.
Roy, maybe you can put into the chat yung email na pwede nilang i-enroll.
Maybe I can just share the screen kasi nasa course naman.
Okay, sige.
Let me...
I'll stop my sharing.
Let me just briefly share my screen. Ano po. Kasi tanong lang ni Mr. Rommel for Rilio. Sinagot ko na po. So yung training po, wala naman yung time limit sa training. So the actual course, pwede nyo namang tapusin as needed. Pero kung let's say yung introduction to online teaching, yung first course, siguro 8 hours lang yon. Itong pangalawang create your first online course, siguro mga 3 to 5 days matatapos nyo na siya, up to 7 days. Pero naiintindihan ko naman, may iba ho tayo na, let's say, ginagawa, so baka matagalan ng konti. Wala naman po time limit hanggang matapos. So, let me just refer my screen. Let me probably share with you. Ayan, So, punta tayo sa Chrome. We will go to the actual course itself. Ano po? So, kung punta tayo sa course, kung nakikita po natin, ito yung Create Your First Online Course. Ayan po, na-upload ko na po yung webinar natin kahapon. So, pakibalitaan po yung mga kasamahan yung teacher na, let's say, hindi sila nakapanood kahapon, pwede nilang panoorin ngayon yung webinar natin yesterday. And then if we go to the final assessment dito sa Project 1, so kunyari ginawa nyo siya sa ibang LMS, ang requirement lang naman dito is you can enroll us as a student kung kaya. So acadasiastudent@gmail. Pero kung hindi naman, siguro maganda rin, pwedeng mag-zoom na lang tayo, i-schedule na lang natin. Pakita nyo lang kung paano nyo ginawa yung course para may feedback. O kaya screenshots ng course para mag-comment kami kung hindi nyo kami ma-enroll. So, but we encourage, I think we already have a couple of teachers na tapos na po. Nagkagawa na sila ng course na video. Sa Filipino, actually, pakita ko sandali. Baka okay lang kay ma'am. Sana okay lang kay ma'am. Itong Filipino 8. In fact, ma'am, pasensya na po kung nandito kayo sa webinar natin. Pero maganda naman yung ginawa niya.
Wow!
Grade 8 Filipino, tinuturo niya, nagawa na niya yung course niya, meron na siyang aralin na unang markahan, pagpapakilala sa guro, tapos may exercises na siya. So kunyari, start natin yung course na ginawa niya. Simple lang naman ito, may banner lang siya. Punta tayo sa introduction. Ayan, so unang markahan, meron siyang parang syllabus dito ng course. At tapos mag-next tayo dito. So pinapakilala niya yung sarili niya. Hello, Ma'am Nieva. You're on candid camera. Joke lang. So ayan, si Ma'am Nieva, nandyan siya. Tapos kumuha na rin siya ng mga karunungang bayan. So actually, ang galing nga po, nakapaglagay na ho siya ng YouTube video. Nakapaglagay na siya ng slides. So actually, ang galing ni Miss Nieva. Tapos, so ito, actually, kung ito, pasado na to sa akin. Ito, nakapag-embed siya ng PDF. Pag-click natin yung PDF, lalabas na ho siya dito. So actually, pwede nang gamitin ni Miss Nieva to para sa kanyang mga estudyante. Pwede na siya mag-enroll. Damihan lang yung laman, yung mga leksyon. Tapos yan, nakagawa na rin siya ng mga pagsusulit. So actually, maganda yung nagawa ni Miss Nieva. So parang ganyan po. So if we go back, to the instructions. This is a different course. Ayan. So, pag nakagawa na kayo ng course, enroll nyo lang kami para makita namin. And then, syempre, yes, nagawa na namin. And then you can already finish the survey and then tapos na kayo. Done na kayo sa ating stage 2 training after. So I'll stop sharing my screen now. Sana maingganyo kayo sa gawa ni Miss Nieva. Actually, I think first time lang yung mag na preach pero mabilis niyang nagawa yung kanyang course.
It's already 4 o'clock, so I'm browsing po, no? Yung mood meter po ay gamit sa menti.com. Punta lang po kayo mentimeter.com.
Yeah, so meron tayong mga ibang mga tanong dito, ano, is it okay to use FB Messenger instead of Google Meet? Actually, nasa sa inyo po yan. Kasi syempre, baka sa ibang estudyante natin, mas madali yung Messenger kasi nga libre, tapos madaling mag-chat. Ang problema naman po, again, we put ourselves in the shoes of the students. Pag iba-iba po yung Messenger na ginagamit ng mga different teachers, so kunyari, estudyante ako, kunyari, 5 yung subject ko sa isang araw, si teacher 1, gamit niya Viber. Teacher 2, gamit niya may Facebook Messenger. Si teacher 3, gamit niya Google Meet. Di ba? So para maguguluhan yung estudyante, ang dami-dami kong chat group. Sobrang dami, hindi ko na masbaybayan lahat. Kaya ang maganda, kung makapag-decide kayo at saka yung faculty at saka department sa school na standardize yung mga tools na gagamitin. So kunyari, lahat ng lesson nasa Freeview, lahat ng chat nasa Slack, lahat ng video sa Zoom. Yun lang. Kasi pag naghalo-halo ho yung mga iba-ibang tools, maguguluhan nyo yung mga bata. Diba? So, depende na po yun sa ano yung mga patakaran ninyo sa school. But ang suggestion po namin sa ACAD-Asia, pag nag-subscribe po kayo sa ating yearly training program, yung DOLE na sinasabi ni Ma'am Carla, matututunan nyo yun kung paano i-manage talaga yung technology sa class. Pero quick tip, simplihan nyo lang. Keep it simple. The fewer tools, the better. Ayan.
Exactly. Kailangan po, simple.
Okay. So, I guess one more question, Ms. Amor, para ba ma-access ng bata ang course from Freeview, kailangan di bang gumawa ng account? Yes po. Pwede po ba kung Gmail at Yahoo? Yes po. Hindi po bang install ng mobile Freeview? Hindi na po. Basta meron silang Android na Chrome browser, kunyari Android phone, Chrome browser, pwede na ho nilang ipuntahan yung Freeview. No problem. Ayan. Okay, so I think, yeah, that's most of the major questions. Ano po? Ayan, thank you rin, Ms. Amor. Okay, Carla, maybe you can wrap up na lang po.
Yeah, so yun nga po, no? So thank you very much again sa this creating your first online course. I-reiterate ko lang din po ulit. Know your students' capabilities, know your capabilities, especially yung internet connection, etc. And then keep it simple. Coordinate with the colleagues and yung pwedeng combine and yung mga ginagamit nila para na nasa isang platform lang po kayo at hindi nakakalito para sa mga bata at mga estudyante. You're lifelong learner. Being a teacher, you're all lifelong learners, but we have to, mayroong learning curve eh. Diba? So, kapag, diba, learning curve is a normal curve, pag gano'n, the curve is like that. Pero, kung parang lalagay niyo po sa microscope yung curve na yun, pag ganun-ganun siya. So, it goes up and down, up and down. So, there are achievements or failures, achievements, failures. Pero, big picture, mag-zoom out tayo, it's going up. Then we can learn. So, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to do things not right, do things the wrong way. But what's important is that we are learning from them. And we do not repeat them again. So, again, maraming salamat po. And enjoy in creating your first online class. Enjoy exploring, explore, and then experiment. So, happy Teacher's Day in advance. At maraming salamat po para sa ating mga makabagong bayani.
Salamat. Bye-bye. Ingat po. God bless.